back to generalized motor program. So we abandoned the hardcore definition of a motor program because of these two issues, storage problem and novelty problem. Replaced that with a generalized motor program. Okay, so essentially we're going to open up the definition of a motor program. Okay, so now we're going to have kind of an abstract representation of the movement. Okay, so it's going to help get us started. No longer does the definition include stored sets of muscle commands. Okay, so that's the fundamental difference. Now we have kind of an abstract representation of how we're going to make a movement. Okay, so what does that mean kind of in reality? Before, the definition was, I have a motor program for this throw, and I have a motor program for this throw, and I have a motor program for this tennis serve, and I have a motor program for this volleyball serve. Okay, so each of those movements had their own motor programs. Okay, so what would be the advantage of a generalized motor program? And conceptually, how it would work would be I would have what? Kind of a generalized motor program that produced this motion of my arm. Okay, so I would call it my generalized motor program for overhand throwing, let's call it. Okay, and that would allow me to do what? I could throw like this, or I could do what? I could throw sidearm, I could still do my volleyball serve, I could do my tennis serve, because what? All of those motions have something in common, and that's what? I've got what? A step. What else goes into all those movements we just talked about? Got a step. What else? Okay, I've got obviously the overhand thing. I've got what? A follow through with my arm. What else? I've got hip rotation. All those things. So those are common to, in a sense, a class of movements that involve, moving my arm above my shoulder, or at least away from my shoulder. Okay, and so here we go with the idea that you call up your generalized motor program, this abstract representation that's going to contain some general features of a particular class of movements, and what I do is provide the parameters that I need for that particular movement.